Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be discussing with you the pros and the cons of being a promoter in the music industry. So if you are interested in anything that may occur in this video, then please do keep on watching. Just before I do dive in with the video, I would like to just give a shout out to the 1865 who are currently struggling due to the coronavirus and all sorts of other issues that are currently going on in the world. I will leave information linked down below where you can go and donate to help give them a bit of income. They basically are one of the venues that may have to be permanently closed, which is such a shame. It is the place where my festival takes place every year. A lot of my gigs take place at the 1865 and it's going to be absolutely heartbreaking if we do lose that venue. So I will leave links and information where you can find out more. We need your help. They need your help. If you can possibly donate, spare a moment to check out how you can help, please do that. Also give it a share around your friends. You never know, they might be able to help out too, and it would mean an absolute lot to us. So if you can, please do, and obviously links will be down below. So let's dive in with the pros and cons of being a promoter. So first of all, a good thing about being a promoter is that bands are beautiful. They are, in my opinion. Bands are absolutely beautiful. You cannot meet better people than musicians. Have you ever hugged a musician and just felt the vibes? They are the most beautiful people in the world.
Make it work, boys, make it work. I'm done. Oh God, I'm gonna pull that up. Hang on.
However, some people are just assholes and you will encounter them being in this industry. Also, if you are a promoter, I guarantee you that you have come across some assholes in your line of work. Another positive is that you get to meet people as passionate as you are, and that is so important in the creative arts industry because you want to be around people that motivate you and inspire you to be the best that you can possibly be. And I think the new wave of classic rock, kind of our little circle, is one of the best circles to be part of because we are all so happy, we're all so positive, we all love each other. None of us are like, don't think, none of us are bad vibes anywhere. It's all positive. We all want each other to do well, and that's what I love about being a promoter and being a promoter in the new wave of classic rock genre. Everyone is going to support you, and that is absolutely okay. I know it's hard sometimes when you really want as much support as you can get, and then you hit that bump in the road where someone's being a dick and they just don't support you. They never will support you, but you've got to remember that that's okay. Not everyone is going to support you, but at the end of the day, more people will support you than they won't. Another great thing about being a promoter is that you get awesome opportunities. I have had so many awesome opportunities that I probably wouldn't have been able to have gotten if I wasn't a promoter. For example, I've been able to work with Marco Mendoza countless occasions, and every gig we've ever done together has always sold out, which is something I am so proud of. I've also got to work with the Dead Daisies. I've been able to work with people like Massive Wagons, Those Damn Crows, Bigfoot while they were still together. I've worked with some pretty awesome bands, and I don't quite realise that people do know of me, which, I mean, when I check my emails and there's people like Alice Cooper's guitarist have been like, hey, we want a gig, and apparently you're someone to go to, it's a bit like, no way. But I get opportunities like that, and that is absolutely amazing.
I wanted to say hello and thank you. We're here in Bournemouth. We just played at the Anthem. Great gig, right?
Yes, it was amazing. However, sometimes you do have to put business before friends. Meaning, if there is something really important that you need to do, need to focus on, need to achieve, it's important to you, sometimes you have to put that before seeing your friends. And a lot of my friends don't understand what it is I do, so I have lost quite a few friends doing what I do because they either think that I'm an asshole or that I'm not really into them. And to an extent, I do, sounds so horrible and I'm so sorry, I do prefer creative people because I feel like we all kind of get each other. And I can get a bit weird when people ask me too many questions. I can be a bit like, you're freaking me out now. But yeah, sometimes I can't go to all these amazing things my friends are doing because I have to put business first. And to be honest, I don't really mind that. However, you do get to work with some brilliant venues. For example, like the 1865, which I mentioned earlier on in this video. Please do go and support them if you can. It would mean a lot to us. I've worked with some pretty awesome venues. The 1865 is probably my favourite because they've been the most supportive and I've achieved the most there. And it's an amazing place. As soon as I walk in there, like the vibes, the feel, the smell, everything is just like home. Do you know what I mean? It's like getting a warm hug and I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, you get to work with some awesome venues and meet some incredible people, which you probably wouldn't be able to do if you didn't work as a promoter or a band, because you wouldn't necessarily go to those places. So yeah, like you get to discover new things basically. Another negative is that some bands are petty and immature. No naming names, but sometimes bands are just really petty and they can be just really immature and it really does get on your nerves. But that's just life, and you will meet people like that throughout your entire life and through your career. So don't worry about it too much. But I know it can get to you when they're literally stood there being little shits that should still be in the playground. But you just got to stand your ground and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and don't let them talk to you like that. I'm kind of bad at this because sometimes I have let bands walk all over me, treat me like absolute dirt in front of people as well, and I've just sort of stood there and taken it. But I'm at that point now within myself where I'm like, no, actually, you're wrong. Like, I'm not going to let you be petty towards me. I'm going to stand my ground because it's something I believe in. So make sure when you do come across those people, you do just, you know, calm. Don't rise to their level because they will push your buttons sometimes. I've had experiences where, you know, my buttons have been pressed, and it's important to remember you don't want to go to their level. Another cool thing about being a promoter is that it gets your name out there. Like, it does. I still don't realise this, but like I said, people know who I am somehow. I don't know whether it's because they follow me on Instagram, we're friends on Facebook, because they know about me through Nozfest, they know about me through other bands, but it does get my name out there. Like, a few bands have actually come up to me and been like, oh yeah, so-and-so's messaged me asking for your contact details, and I'm like, whoa, that's insane, but so cool. It's weird as well. I can remember I went to see Collateral last year. They played at the Joiners, and I had a phone call on the train, and I didn't know who it was, so I ignored it. Turns out it was actually the guitarist from Collateral, and he was like, oh yeah, I tried to phone you, and I was like, I didn't know, I didn't answer, and he was like, oh yeah, I got your number from so and so, and I'm like, that's insane, but so freaking cool. I have that happen to me an awful lot. People just come up to me. That's how I actually met The Dark. They just messaged me out of the blue, which is super cool, and I love them to bits now. And yeah, it's just amazing how many people know, how many bands or musicians know of me, but I don't necessarily know of them. Or when people say stuff like, oh, I've been following what you've been doing for a while now, and I'm like, really? No way. Like, it is crazy, but it does get your name out there, and that is great because that means you get more opportunities and you get to meet more awesome people. So that's great. However, it is hard work. I won't lie. It is really hard work. Being in this kind of business, anyway is hard work, because you've got to do so much. You've got to do so much to get so little back, in a way. Like you'll be doing videos, you'll be doing this and that, and you'll get like tiny little rewards sometimes, but in the long run it is worth it. So if this is your passion, this is something you want to do, keep doing it. It's hard work, but you will get there eventually, which is the same with absolutely anything in life. Hard work will get you there. Remember that when you're feeling a bit down some days. Hard work, perseverance, and you will get there. However, it is incredibly rewarding. It's so rewarding doing what I do. I love it so much. When like I'll get quite bad, like I won't say bad anxiety, but I do get quite stressed or like anxious at a gig, and I'll probably sit there shaking for a couple of hours, and then as soon as it's all finished, I'm like, woohoo, I did that, and it's so rewarding. And you'll be like having high moments for like the rest of the week. It's just, you know, having people come up to you after a show and being like, oh my god, that was fantastic, thank you for putting it on, I've discovered this new band, I'm really happy now, this has cheered me up, this has like been the highlight of my weekend. When people give you comments like that, it's so rewarding, because you know that you're doing something that makes people happy. And oh, it's I can't explain it. I wish I could bottle the feeling and like give it to people, because this world would be a much nicer place if people could feel the way that I feel, and how I'm sure other people in this kind of creative industry also feel. However, it can also be really heartbreaking. For example, I'll use the 1865. The fact that they might have to shut permanently, that is absolutely heartbreaking. And I know I'm saying that kind of joyfully, but I don't want to think about it too much, because if it does get taken away, it's going to affect me hugely. Like, where will I put my festival on? I'll have to find a new venue, and I don't want to do that, because those guys that, you know, working with those guys is what makes it so special. And there's just heartbreaking moments where you don't get to put on that gig, you don't get to work with that band, or you've worked really hard trying to sell tickets, you've got a brilliant lineup, but nobody wants to come to it, whether that be because it's on a date that they can't make, it's at a venue they don't like, or it's too far away, or it's too much money, or they don't like this band, they haven't heard of that band. When when there's hardly anybody there, it can be really heartbreaking, but everything balances out in the end. A positive, again, is that it's just so much fun. I've had so much fun doing what I do. I can't imagine ever not doing this. I don't ever want to not do this. If this could be my full time, just doing gigs all the time, organising festivals, working with bands, making sure they're on time, making sure they're doing this, like telling everyone about their new album, telling everyone about their new single. If that was all I did for the rest of my life, I would be the most happiest person on the planet, because that is all I've ever wanted to do, and it's all I know as well. Like, I don't really know a life outside of doing this, and that's one of the things I love most about me. And it is just, it's so much fun. Have you ever walked around and just seen how like all the people involved with like putting a gig on are smiling? It's because it's the best thing ever. It is the best thing ever. And when you see the audience like smile back too, it's just so much fun. However, it isn't always financially beneficial. I know sometimes that people often ask me about money, and I hate talking about money. I will never discuss money with anybody, because number one, it's rude. Number two, you don't need to know. It's for me. But sometimes you'll put on a gig and it might have sold out. It may have sold out. It's gone absolutely amazingly. Doesn't mean you've made a single penny from it though. And that's where the finance comes in. Sometimes you will make a lot of money doing this, whether you be a band, promoter, venue, whatever. Sometimes you will make a lot of money and you'll think, yeah, this is great, this is why I do what I do. And other times you will make nothing and you'll think, why do I do this? I love it so much, but I get no money from it. And that's just swings and roundabouts. That's just what happens in this kind of thing. Sometimes you have to take it on the chin. For me, I personally prefer it if I know the bands have been paid, and then I'll take my cut, because I do it for the love of it, I do it for the fun, I do it for the bands. I'm not trying to become a multi-millionaire out of this, because I know that will never happen. And if it does, great. But for the time being, I know that isn't really going to happen, realistically. So for me, I try to make sure that my bands have been paid, and then I'll take whatever's left. Sometimes it's different, depending on how you're arranging things with the venue, with the bands themselves, and the circumstances. For example, the circumstances with coronavirus at the moment, everything's a bit weird because nobody is making money, nobody can make money, nobody has money. So things are a bit weird in that kind of aspect. So it does depend also on, it depends on a lot of factors, but it isn't always financially beneficial. But it doesn't mean you should give up. If it's something you want to do, don't give up on it. I could have thrown in the towel loads of times, but I haven't. Just throwing that out there. So if you are getting into this sort of like being a promoter or a band manager or owning a venue, whatever it is that you want to be, I'm going to stick to saying promoter. Don't think that you're going to be making a lot of money when you first start off, because swings and roundabouts. However, you always learn something. I'm learning something new every single time I put on a gig. Sometimes my gigs go swimmingly well and sometimes they go really wrong, and you just learn things. And working with different bands, different people, different venues, different, you know, whatever it is, you learn something new every time you do it. And I think that's the most awesome thing, because it's good to keep learning and expanding your mind and being open to new ideas. It's good to just be constantly learning, and you will definitely be constantly learning in this kind of environment, because you learn about bands, genres, brands, venues. You just learn an awful lot from doing this, and I love learning. Okay, so it is the Nosfest day, and doors open in less than 5 minutes. I've put on the negative side, you get to watch soundcheck, and I love soundcheck. I love watching soundcheck because it's like the only time I get to just watch those bands by myself. So I personally love soundcheck. However, I've put it on both sides. I've put it on positive and negative. That's good. I didn't see it. The most annoying part about soundcheck is the drums. And I'm sure everybody will say the same that's watching this. It's like when they're just doof, 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 doof for like 5 minutes, then tss, tss, tss. Oh my God, it gets on your absolute nerves. I know they have to do it, like they have to do it, but oh my God. Or when they play the same song over and over and over again, and you're like, it sounded exactly the same as it did before, but okay. I don't know the technical side of things. Well, for the most part, I'm not massively technical. I know things about like guitars and stuff, but I don't really know about sound engineering. But it's so annoying just sitting there and like watching the drums, and sometimes they'll just be doing that for like 10 minutes and you'll be sat there being like, got a headache now, and you just got to ride it out. But the positive side of soundcheck is you get that time, you get to watch that, nobody else does, and I feel so smug when I'm sat there like, oh, I get to watch this, because you just sat there on your own with the bands. They're playing, they're in their like normal clothes, natural environment, they're being normal, chill people, and you get to spend that time with them, and that is like, I love that so much. Another positive is the amount of new music that you will discover. Because I have discovered so much music doing this. Like, bands will just come up to me and be like, can you review this? Can you check this out? They'll send me CDs to my house and I'll check them out that way. And if I wasn't doing what I do, I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have bands messaging me being like, oh, please may you check out my new single, please may you review this, would you like a CD? I wouldn't get that if I didn't do this. So I get to discover so many new bands a lot, maybe quicker than what I would if I wasn't doing this. Because, for example, if I wasn't doing what I do now, I would never have discovered any of the bands that I booked for my festival. Never would have even thought about searching for bands like that. But because I do what I do and I have to do my research, look at backgrounds, look at genres, look at who's doing well, who's not doing so well, bands people are picking up on, bands that have been doing well for a long time, bands that are just coming up, bands that are a bit different, you know, I get to look at them all, and I'm so grateful for that because I feel like my music taste is awesome. Like, I'm so happy with like the bands that I listen to, and I can't imagine myself listening to anything else now. I've put on the negative side that you will get a lot of freebies. Can we be on the guest list? We should be in for free because we're mates. I get this all the time. When I actually put on my festival, I had somebody message me and say, hey, I've known you for X amount of years, therefore I should be put on the guest list as your +1. And I was like, no, you pay for a ticket like everybody else. Like, all my other friends have paid for a ticket. And they're like, yeah, but I've known you longer. And I'm like, no, you pay for a ticket. Like, don't like people. I will happily give friends tickets. Sometimes if I know that they're struggling and they really want to go, I will just be like, here you go. Here's a cheeky ticket so you could come along. I am that person. I shouldn't do it because it's bad. But I will do that, like, and if it's a business opportunity as well, here you go, you can come in for free, don't worry, like, we'll sort things out later. I'm very much that person. But when people ask because they think that they deserve it, that's when I'm not okay. I would never do that. I've always paid for a ticket for a gig. I have never gone up to a band or a venue and gone, well, I've worked here before, I've worked with you before, can I have a free ticket? No, don't do that. If they offer you, if they are willing to be like, hey, we'd like you to come to our show, don't worry about ticket, we'll sort it. I'm so appreciative, and that is lovely, and thank you so much. But I will never ever ask for it, ever. That is so rude. Don't do that. No, rude. I would turn up at gigs at the 1865 and they're like, you don't need to pay. And I'm like, yes I do. Yes, I absolutely do. I'm not going to ask you for it. Like, if you want to give me a free ticket, brilliant. But I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to assume. I'm going to pay my way because I know how much you need that money. So I'm not going to take that away from you. And if I want to offer someone a free ticket or to be on the guest list, then that's on me. I take that loss. I take that risk. I take that hit, you know. But don't ever come up to me and assume that you're just going to be on the guest list. Another thing that annoys me is when people, or like another negative to be on this list, to be honest, is when people that you haven't spoken to for a long time suddenly see that you're doing quite well. And they suddenly appear out of nowhere back in your life like nothing's happened, and they expect you to just pick up from where you left off. Because when I had stuff happen to me a couple of months ago, I lost a friend, or a few friends to be honest, but I lost a friend, and they saw me put on a gig, and I'm not really bothered if they watch this video, but they saw me put on a gig sold out, gig did really well, Next day, they wanted to hang out and be my friend again. And I'm like, no, because she wasn't there when I was getting bullied. No. Back in the queue. I'm sorry, but... And that will happen to you a lot. I could probably pay like rent with the amount of times that people have asked for a free ticket. Another pro and con is that you will have a full inbox. My inbox is always full of bands messaging me, either just for a little chit chat, which is absolutely fine, or can you review this? Can we get booked for this gig? Whatever it is, there is always at least 10 bands in my inbox. And I do this thing, and it's so bad. I ignore everyone. I shouldn't do it, but I do. You have to literally message me so much that I see your name and go, I know that person, and then I'll respond. If it's just a random name that I've never seen in my inbox before, I probably won't click on it and read it. You have to get me a specific mood for me to open it. But if I've seen your name around, you've liked my post, I know of your band, I know this, I'm more likely to answer, which is bad. Bad. I need to get out of that habit. But I also have anxiety where I feel like if I reply to a message, I won't get a response, and then I panic. So sometimes I'm just rubbish at messaging. So bear with. But the bands that I've worked with can vouch that I will answer. You will get a gig, don't worry. I come through eventually. But yeah, your inbox will be full most of the time of bands and musicians, and I mean, from my point of view, I think that's great. But I mean, your friends, your family, your loved ones are probably going to be like, who are you talking to? Who is that? And half the time, I don't actually know, but they want a gig, and it's my job to get them a gig. So I'm going to get them a gig, and full inbox. And the last positive for this video is that you get to make friends for life. Like, I'm pretty confident in that most of my musical friends are gonna stay in my life for a long time, because work and because they are the most kindest, beautiful, everything people I have ever met or come across. They're the most supportive, the most genuine, the most kind, the most caring, the most loving. I love my little band people so much. I love all bands as well. There isn't a single band that I've looked at and gone, Like, all the bands that I've worked with or are going to work with, they have such a special place in my heart. I love them so much. I would do anything for them. And I know that a good portion of those people would feel the same towards me and would also do anything for me. And they have helped me. They have supported me. They have given me advice. They have been there when I've been really low or that I'm upset about something in my personal life. They've been there, whether it be professional or not professional. And that's what I love so much about this, is like, you will meet people that will stay in your life forever, and that is just so heartwarming.
Very pleased to be here in the first NOS Ever Fest. Thanks everybody to Jodie! Make some fucking noise for her!
Also, just to round this off, I want to just throw in that actually, if you think about it, gigging is really good for your mental health. I know that one of my happy places is a Chris Payne gig. Whenever I felt really low, I wasn't feeling inspired, I was having a rubbish day, I was just not feeling myself, I was anxious, I was moody, whatever, I would take myself off to a Chris Payne gig, sit there, watch it, chill, didn't even have to have a drink, you know, just sitting there in the vibes, and my mental health would do so much better. And I struggle with mental health anyway, but especially this year it has been very much like this, and I think that is because I haven't been able to go to any gigs or put any gigs on, and that's really hard. And it just proves that, you know, gigging is a big part of like keeping us sane. And so make sure that you are supporting like music, and live music and local bands as well. If there's any bands from your area, go check them out. Like, once this is all over with, go check those bands out, because they're awesome. They will always be awesome, and they keep us going. That is all for today's video. If you have liked this, then please do give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more from me. And yeah, that's all I have for today. See you on the next one. Bye.